Hey, Storytelling Ron here. I want to go over Rime of the Frostmaiden, Icewind Dale's Rime of the Frostmaiden, outside of 10 Towns. So that next segment or chapter of the adventure. And I want to make it clear to you guys, I am not the guy to tell you exactly how to play it according to what is written. I'm kind of doing my little niche here, and which is how I'm DMing it. And the main point I'm trying to get across to you is that when you DM something, you should own it. You should own it, cut and paste, edit, do what you want. It's your time. And I appreciate what they're doing. I support Dungeons and Dragons and the publishers and the authors. And this is in no way trying to insult them or demean them in any way. I know the hard work that goes into it. But each of us is different, right? Each of us, I'm a homebrew. A lot of you may be homebrews. And the reason that I'm doing Rime of the Frostmaiden or Storm King's Thunder or, the published stuff is a connection, with the audience. Because we all kind of want a connection as far as what's going on, and even though I'm at heart a homebrew person, DM, when I go online to look at YouTube videos, I look at people that are DMs and playthroughs. I watch the people that are doing the published work. And the reason is I like to compare and contrast and I have a starting reference point, when people do their own homebrews on YouTube or whatever, I don't know where they're coming from, whatever, you get the point. So, that's why I do this, what I'm doing. And I'm still stuck on wanting to change it to fit what I desire. So that's what the series of my Rime of the Frostmaiden DM tips is all about. So let's get into the this outer area and what I'm doing based on my storyline. And obviously you can watch the playthrough on my I have a playthrough playlist of the doing Rime of the Frostmaiden. And I'm making it definitely more dark, more scary, more gritty. And so I'm using my Roll20 map here, and as you can see, if you haven't figured this out yet, I've moved things around, right? I've moved them a little bit based on where I want them for the story. Okay, so let me explain. And I might have already said some of this. I'm sorry if the thing's shaking. My camera's on the desk, and I'm kind of shaking it. Okay. For instance, this A Descendant, right, is the Mind Flayer Gnomes. That is down here somewhere. It's actually over here, and I moved it because I want it to be a part of the early story. The characters are all in this area right now. Let me just go ahead and zoom in real quick. The characters are all in here. They're dealing with the 10 Towns part. And one of the characters' background is the Descendant. He's like he's a gnome, little armored guy, soldier, and he doesn't know, he has memory loss, and he doesn't know that he fell off the Descendant. Well, he was the Mind Flayer Gnomes, the Geomorphs, whatever. They told him to go find the thing at Tourmaline in the gem mine, the Mind Flayer. I've lost a lot of the terminology because I've been sick for 2 months and then I came back, and so I'm gonna kind of be a little. I know the whole gist of it. I've read through, but I can't remember all the details because I've just returned from 2 months of illnesses and I'm feeling great, but I just so they got him to go out looking for it, and he got lost, in the snow and whatever, and has amnesia. And so does one of the other characters, by the way. But he has amnesia, so he doesn't know who he is or his past. And of course, they're going to just, at some point, discover it. So I put the Descendant up there. So it's close by to where he is. And I don't want him to yet. And I didn't feel it. I didn't like it being down here by the Dwargar and the whole epic. This is a whole epic part of the story as well. And I didn't want the Descendant here. I wanted it to be more in the area where I want that storyline to unfold. So I'm assuming they're going to discover this very soon after Lonelywood and go to Tourmaline, because the way I'm breaking out the story. Yes, I railroad. Boom. But I compel them to get on that train. They don't have to get on that train if they want to go somewhere else. I'll DM. I'm 40. I've done 40 years of this. I know how to DM if they want to go another direction. But I compel them to go on. And I never do it in a sense of like a character says, well, I have a job for you. It's more like people are desperate. Something's going on. Something is suffering. Something is yearning them to go that way. So anyway, I digress. Now, the Dark Duchess is the other character's backstory. One of them, the sorcerer, the tortured sorcerer with the wild magic, he was on the Dark Duchess. He doesn't know it, the memories, but he's lost his memory because of all the pain and suffering. And he escaped. Him and his captain escaped. The captain is torturing him as a haunted ghost. He had, they had to survive, and he had to cannibalize the captain to survive, through the harsh winter, or the winter dread, and then finally was found down here by the monastery. And so he doesn't know any of that. And the captain is haunting him as a ghost. And they're from the Dark Duchess. And here, check this out. This is what I'm doing. I'm just going into it. So Revel's End is a prison, right? And it has a story where they can go there and talk to one of the prisoners. And I didn't like that because there wasn't no adventure. There was no reason to go there, really. The guy only knew a little bit about some of the white wizards, the wizards that are in the story. And that's it. And I'm like, so what did I do? I changed it. Revel's End is the home of the ancient white dragon, the one with the wizard on the back. And I can't pronounce the name, Avatar or whatever. I can look it up, but I'm just going to go on. I decided to make that is the ancient white dragon's lair. So if when they're at higher level and they want to take on that ancient white dragon, they got to go there and fight it in this big battle in the prison thing. And I'm going to change that up, to be an ancient white dragon's lair. But they don't have to go fight it. They can skip that part. Mouth dry. They can skip that part. Also, the white dragon has sort of made this whole area scary for the people, and the tavern keeper in Lonelywood has told them about there's a bunch of white dragons up here. But the Dark Duchess is supposed to be where the ancient white dragon's lair is. Or part of one of the lairs, but I didn't like that because it's just a boat, a ship frozen on the ice, and it's not that big. And I don't think an ancient white dragon would care about that. An ancient white dragon would have a fortress, and that's what the Revel's End is. So the Dark Duchess is one of its offspring. That's perfect. Ancient white dragon would want its little offspring, living around it. To keep other people away. So the Dark Duchess has like a young white dragon, depending on what level they are when they finally decide to go there to discover one of the player characters' past of what he did and how horrible, And once he goes there and takes the treasure from the Dark Duchess, that will fulfill the captain's, one of now I got the treasure of my own ship, and I can dissipate, go wherever I need to go. So the Dark Duchess, that's kind of like the goal of the pirate captain is to make the sailor, the player, return and get his gold. But he doesn't need it, so that's it. And the player was a sailor, but he became a sorcerer because of the curse, because of all this cursedness and he's got like a wild magic. So that's how that's playing out. He doesn't know that yet, so but I'm slowly building it up. I have a list of all the sort of the sequence of what happened, and I'm slowly feeding him each time I think the pirate ghost or he goes into a stressful situation. I feed him a little bit more information, if he can roll his insight or memory or religion to try to remember things. So that's what I'm doing with that. I don't know if I'm going to use Angajuk's bell, the whale thing. It seems a little too Harry Potterish to me, for my style. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that one yet. I'll tell you one thing I didn't like about it is that when you go there, it's kind of cool, it's kind of, Harry Pottery, kind of a neat thing. And then they have like other groups come in and attack. And I noticed that a lot about some of these locations. Like you'll finish the mission, but at the very end they describe, someone comes and attacks them. I would take all those attacks out, because you want to sort of keep them feeling interested in that specific story and what came out of it. So, and then when they move on to the next part of whatever, when you throw in kind of an oddball attack at the end, I think it just kind of throws it off. At least for me personally, I don't know. Maybe I'd add it in, maybe I wouldn't, but I would not. I would. You can, as a DM, I'm telling you, free yourself from feeling like you have to do that or any of those type of things. I'm definitely going to do it for the Black Cabin. When at the end the cold lights come in and they have a fight there. I'm definitely going to do it for that one because that's a real reason. When they turn on the weather machine thing. So concerning the Black Cabin, okay, so as you can see, I moved the Lost Spire and the I think the Black Cabin was over here, actually, and I moved it to here and here. Why? Okay, well, the second part, I want to save that whole part. The whole part, I'm zooming out here, this whole part of the Caves of Hunger, the Yithrin, and the city, and by the way, I moved those too. I think they were over here, and I thought, just bring them in closer, just for my own sanity. This whole part here is the finale, or part of the finale, rather. I want them to learn this a little bit later, and this part, which is part of learning about the Lost City, and then the Caves of Hunger and the Lost City. So I really wanted them to learn that a little bit later on in the story, because they're doing their own backstory stuff here. This is the Revel's End is obviously a huge digression. Well, it's still kind of part of it, but they could learn something there. One thing I definitely want them to learn, and this is about Oral. How she has a rock? She flies a rock. I'm gonna take the rock out because the rock to me has nothing to do with winter and freezing. I'm gonna give it a white dragon. Either the ancient white dragon, Avarachak's sister, brother. I know, or lover. There's a male and female ancient white dragons. I got to look it up again. It's even in Storm King's Thunder. It's mentioned, I think. I don't want to stay here and look through it, but there's a pair of them. I might have one of them be the rider, and maybe the ancient white dragon is upset, or that the Oral has the husband or whatever. I can't remember if the husband or wife, the mate. You know, I just thought of that just now. I mean, I knew I wanted Oral to have a white dragon instead, an ancient white dragon flying with an ancient white dragon instead of a rock. But I didn't put that two together, the Avarock rocks or whatever, because that pair in there is from Storm King's Thunder as well. There's a pair of ancient white dragons, mates. So that I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be really cool. So they gotta be high level to take that on. And Oral too. I'm gonna make Oral on the left side. You know, the sea moving ice, probably one component. You know, they can defeat her, but not defeated her. And instead of her coming back there, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to wait, and she'll come back in the stronger form when they go to the Lost City. Like they know now there's going to be, when they defeat Oral over here on the left, I'm totally going through different parts of the story, but when they defeat her over there, she's defeated or whatever, she retreats, but she does learn of the Lost City through them somehow. I haven't figured that part out yet. But she's going to learn of it somehow, or maybe through one of the white wizards, or I forget what the wizards of the Brotherhood who confess up, or she tortures them to get the information. But that's the race at the end. They're going to race to the Lost City. Anyway, I'm going a little off here. So after 10 towns, or during 10 towns, they discover their backstories, and yes, the gnome is going to get the laser rifle and pistols and become like a sci-fi character in this story. Yes, he is. You know, so that's going to be cool. He's going to be like a little engineer. And he's going to use the Chardolin. The Chardolin, he learns, is part of what he needs to fix, repair, recharge batteries, and build armor and upgrade his weapons. So he's not even going to really necessarily care about magic items. He's going to care about getting the Chardolin, or breaking down the magic items in Chardolin and getting, repairing his stuff and upgrading his weapons and stuff. That's how I'm going to play that out. I think that's going to be fun. The other part of the story, before the whole Lost City part, is this part down here with the Dwargar. The Dwargar, and like I said, at I removed the Dwargar from any of the other towns and put them only at East Haven, where they're sort of terrorizing the East Haven people, and that's in my other video. The reason is I want the Dwargar to be down here, all down here doing their thing with the Frostmaidens. And I took out the devils, and I put in the Frostmaidens helping the Dwargar. And at Kerning or Dernavel, where the devil was helping the knights or whatever, I changed that to one of the gods one of the winter war gods who it's mentioned in the book. There's Oral, and then she's in sort of a struggle between three other gods who are weather and storm and all that. So I decided I want to build up a little bit on them. I mean, a little bit, but there's one there that's taking over. Whichever one of these is the one with the knights, and is taking over that area and is killing any frost maidens that come into that area and try and expand out and depose or oppose Oral. So that's a little side story, but it adds to the story. I didn't like the devils that are in there because it's interesting, and it's definitely an interesting idea, but they're totally different pantheon or whatever. It's a different. I wanted to keep it in the same pantheon. So at Sunblight, the Dwargar are being, obviously there's a devil disguised as a Dwargar priest. I'm just going to put a Frostmaiden there, a very powerful Frostmaiden, because I want the characters to continually encounter the Frostmaidens as that continuing villain. When you have continuing villains, it really makes them excited about continuing that story on that railroad. When you add a bunch of different pantheons and stuff in there, it really dilutes the story. And even if you watch my Storm King's Thunder, if you can, it's kind of brutal at the beginning because I didn't know how to do online very well, and it was at the beginning of the lockdown and all that. And me and the group are pretty new, but we really got our stride in there. But it's all about giants. I took out all the other stuff. It's all about them. I railroaded them on the giants, and very compelling. At least I think they're still playing. And anyway, so the part about the Dwargar. Okay, they are mining Chardolin via the Cackling Chasm, the Knolls. I'm going to put a little element of mining Chardolin. Cave of the Berserkers, and the Karkalok's, the Goblin Fortress. So all of these are mining Shardlin for the Sunblight Dwargar to build the dragon. And the Dwargar are paying them by kidnaps and getting the treasures and whatever else from the humans. They bring them down somewhere around here, and these guys come and trade with them. Now, the Cave of the Berserkers don't need any trade because they're Berserkers. What the Oral has done over there. So let me just finish off with the Gnolls and the Goblins. I think those are fun. They're going to terrorize the area so that the people have to go after it. I don't particularly like Jarmu, by the way. I just noticed it. I don't think I'll do that one at all. Anyway, so the Goblins and the Cackling Chasms, they're trading with the Dwargar. So when the players encounter this whole area, they're going to discover this, entire, the Gnolls, the Goblins, the Dwargar, and the whole thing. So we got to defeat them all, kind of thing. I'm assuming, and they're going to want to go to all those places because they have slaves. They have human slaves. They've got, they've taken the families, so that'll be a good, rescue the families. And they're obviously going crazy from the Shardlin, so they're very bloodthirsty. I've noticed that in Rime the Frostmaiden, they give you an option to make peace with the groups or to make a deal with them. I'm just, this is not my style. I'm going to make it very frightful. It's slavery. They're getting drug addled, and the Karkalok, the gnome that's the chieftain. I'm gonna probably do that. I think that guy. I think that's gonna be like. I can't touch my nose. Sorry. That's gonna be like the Apocalypse Now, the movie. Remember the old movie Apocalypse Now, and it's about the old story. The old. I forgot the book. The original book. It was written in the 18th, 19th century or whatever. I forgot the name of it, but Apocalypse Now, right? I think that, I remember it was big back in the 80s and 90s when I was in high school and college. That's going to be Karkalok. The dude is like getting all the gnome that can disguise himself as a goblin and is ruling these goblins he's gone crazy. I'm going to do something like that. Freaky. They got to end it, so there's that. And they're gonna learn more, get rescue them. The Cackling Chasm with the Gnolls gonna rescue them, and hopefully figure out where Sunblight is because they don't know where it is, and find out the Dwargar and all that. Maybe they'll be chased by some Dwargar who discover what they're doing. Cave of the Berserkers. Okay, Cave of the Berserkers, and I'll go back to the other places. Cave of the Berserkers this is my story, and one of the characters is a Goliath. So I'm feeding him this backstory because it says in the book that they're fighting each other. They always have, these are the only two tribes left. The other clans are all been killed off by, and I'm telling him, and the people are all looking down upon the Goliath, Kirok, because they say the Goliaths are all killing each other. So they look down at him, I think. They kind of say, not full, but kind of. And so I'm trying to get him to want to go find out what's going on with his people that he doesn't know because he was at the monastery and was raised there and he was abandoned, his family and clan was killed off. And the monastery found, the family fled and they all died and he was the only one left. And so the monastery raised him. But I want to get him to go over there. And so the basic thing I'm doing is that these guys have some Dwargar there and they've figured out a way to enlarge the Berserkers, and they're using the fake tattoos of the Goliaths. Goliaths all have tattoos. They cut off the skin, they put it on their own, and they go around fighting the clans to blame the other clans for their killing their people. And the Berserkers have that Shardlin crazed power, so they're really strong. And so they're getting the clans to kill each other, but the Cave of the Berserkers are the ones causing it all. So they're faking it all. And so that's what I want him to discover when he goes to the Berserkers. And now in the Berserkers, there's that magical fountain where that makes them invulnerable. They won't go below 1 hit point. I don't like that. I'm going to change that somehow. I don't know yet, but I'm going to take that out. And my point to you is, if you don't like something, take it out. And I'm going to make another video on this, but I'm going to say it here right now. I think many new DMs or DMs fear losing control of the game, right? The control of the player, or the not controlling the players, but entertaining them. there's only, and this is very simple, but there's only one way to, I'm using hyperbole, but there's really only one way you can lose that control on the players and entertaining them and entertaining yourself. There's really only one way, is if you're not excited about what you're doing. If you're confused, if you're unsure, if you're doing something that you don't really feel you want to DM, part of, a little bit of the story, a little bit of this, a little of that, and it's just not really your style or what you want to DM, that's what's going to kill you or kill the game. Make sure you're doing exactly what you want to do and you're excited about. It's not about how good you are with the rules. It's not about how you dominate them or anything. It's just about you being excited. If you're excited, then they're going to be wanting to hear your excitement. If you're, you know what I mean? That's it. It's not about following the campaign exactly or following everything. It's just about you being excited. And don't let the rules, by the way, I'm thinking of a video on this anyway. The rules, let your players help you on the rules. Don't even be a rule master where you own the rules. If they can find the rule for you and you guys figure it out, great. If it's going to take too long and break the pace of the game and excitement, say, okay, let's just play on and we'll do it this way, and then we'll change. I'll make a note of that. We'll learn. You know what I mean? Just move on. And I generally favor the players. Generally speaking, I will favor their requests. Let's have fun. It doesn't matter if they succeed or lose. It doesn't matter. It's just being excited and having fun. Anyway, so the key of Berserkers. I'm going to take that out, the invulnerability thing. I know that. I just feel like I'll do something that there's a twist there with the fountain. But I don't know what it is. But it's not going to be that. I may have already gotten something written down. I don't know. But I'm just trying to make this video that just pass over it all. But that's going to be a cool element to the Goliath thing, which will fulfill his background, desires. Okay. I'm kind of like, that'll be it. I mean, there's so much that's going to happen. This whole area of doors is going to be pretty peaceful. There's some Yeti things happening there. I am concentrating all the Yetis and the dwarven things here. The gnome may want to go there to do some dwarven stuff, but that'll probably all just be roleplay. So again, the Black Cabin, the Lost Spire of Netherall, and the Caves of Hunger and Ithrin. That's all going to be a chain. They don't have to go there directly, but they can go to the Black Cabin, discover that, and then go back and then come, whatever. But the Black Cabin is definitely going to lead them to Lost Spire. What I'm going to do is, I'm definitely going to change it so that the weather machine that they created doesn't put them into another plane they know it's going to kill you, so they don't want to turn it on. Or I'm going to make it so they turn it on, but they're a distance away. And it's unstable. It's not working correctly. They are going to find some book or material on it or diary, and that's going to lead them to the Lost Spire where we found this, you know what I mean? And then at the Lost Spire, I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm not going to do the whole simulacrum, with the wizard and all that. I'm going to make it just a cool little dark adventure in there with some mutated stuff. And they're going to find a tome or book on the lost city and how it crashed in the snow. And it has a powerful weather, machine, the Mithraller thing, which is what the Black Cabin refers to as well. So that's going to be this lineage of whoa. And that thing can, you know what I mean? Control the weather, stop the weather, whatever it is, so they realize they got to go there. And I'll tie that into with the Rime of the Frostmaiden, because I do like that Rime of the Frostmaiden title. And look, I'm not trying to corrupt this story. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get to the heart of it. Storm King's Thunder, the heart of it was King Hecaton and the giants. And Wizard of the Coast throws in a lot of other stuff and a lot of digress stuff. And at my age, I don't have time for that. I want to stick to the story. So I feel like what I'm doing is emphasizing the points that they were throwing in there with the salad. They're throwing in like a big salad of a smorgasbord of stuff. And I want to get to the meat of it because I love following a storyline. And I like being challenged that way too. And it's YouTube, right? I want to connect with you with the campaign, with whatever campaign they come out with at that time. And, there's that connection with Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so that's that area of how I'm going to break that down. I think that's it, man. And then when they go to the Sea Moving Ice, they'll fight Oral, and hopefully defeat her. And then in there with the Wizards of the Brotherhood, which are all women, I think, most of them, except one that got burned. But it's kind of funny. But somehow in there, they're going to talk about the Mithraller device. And when Oral hears about that, because she doesn't know about it yet, even though maybe the Rime of the Frostmaiden, knows where it is, but she doesn't know about the Mithralar thing. When she learns about that and that she could just use that, that's going to be the finale race, and if she can use that and not her own powers, and she'll become even more powerful in Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. So that's my take on really the rest of it, on how I'm going to do it. I didn't go into details, but again, last little bit, you got to be excited about whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a Wizard of the Coast product or your own. You got to be. That's how you own the players. When you're doing this, they're doing this. Okay, and that's the important thing. And you're only going to be excited about it is if you understand the material that you're using. You've crafted it the way you like it, and that anything that confuses you or throws you off, that means you don't want to do it and you don't like it. So don't do it. Do what you want to do. Have fun. Make it exciting. That's the way you got to DM. It's got to be exciting. If it's not exciting, don't do it. Take it out. All right. That's the end of my Rime of the Frostmaiden DM tips. Please watch the playthrough. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm doing it today. And check out my Patreon if you want to support me on there. I'm doing a lot of maps. I'm also doing Star Wars RPG stuff, which I'm really excited about because all the Star Wars stuff that's coming out. But I'm doing a lot of cool maps. I'm doing a lot of figures, paper minis, and tokens. And the more people that support me, the more I get encouraged by that. And I'm really encouraged by YouTube, by the way. Just you guys on the YouTube have been great. Your comments, I really appreciate everyone. I try to respond to everyone. It's my little YouTube thing community there. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks. All right, I'm gonna keep doing this.